Mark Rogers TV, talking college football each and every day, 365 days a year. I ask that you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you love college football, we talk it up all the time and for the smart fan. All right, the latest conversation concerns the College Football Playoff Committee and the various reasons why selections would be made to the College Football Playoff. And we know the usual criteria: conference championships, best record, toughest schedule, most top 10, top 15, top 25 wins, most desirable losses or quality losses against decent teams, being competitive in losses. All those things certainly are decent criteria. Since the Alabama selection, I have heard one of the most ridiculous justifications for Alabama in particular, but just overall as a selection criteria. Vegas knows best. Let's set the record straight. None of us know the best teams. None of us know the best team. We all have our opinions. Hopefully we've done our homework and we watch the games. And of course we've got our inherent bias toward our favorite team. But none of us know the best teams. We think we know the best teams, and we probably are close. I have no issue with anybody in particular saying Alabama is one of the four best teams in college football in 2017, or even somebody saying Alabama is the best team in college football. That is not a ridiculous statement. That's not like saying Purdue is one of the four best teams in college football. Alabama has won 11 games. They've lost one. The one loss was by 12 points on the road to Auburn. They have won some decent games against decent competition. Unfortunately, they've not played any elite teams in college football. Let's take this away from the Alabama spotlight, though, and just move it toward more of a general argument about the whole Vegas betting line meaning anything toward selecting the best team. We don't know who the best team is. Back in 2011, it came down to a selection by the BCS, meaning the computers plus the AP and the Harris poll in particular, of selecting Alabama and LSU to play a rematch for the national championship in the BCS game. Of course, they had already played. Alabama lost that game at home and was still given a second chance to win the national championship, and they backed it up and they won the game. But my thought was that Oklahoma State, as the Big 12 champion and the only other conference champion with just one loss, had earned the right to play LSU for the national championship, not Alabama, which had already played LSU. And so we were relegating the national championship to one division, let alone one conference. I didn't say that those weren't the two best teams in the country, because that's what I felt, that's what I saw, that's what I perceived, that LSU and Alabama were the two best teams in the country, but I was going by who has earned the opportunity. But Vegas knows, and Vegas is telling us right now that Alabama is a 2.5 to 3 point favorite over Clemson. They would be an even bigger favorite in a second game, a national championship game against Oklahoma or Georgia. Alabama is a 2-1 favorite against the other three teams, against the field, to win the national championship. Clemson at 11-5, so Vegas believes that the winner of Bama-Clemson will win the national championship. Oklahoma is at, I believe, 7-2, and actually they are 11-4, and it's Oklahoma or Georgia that's 7-2. Okay, so Alabama's a pretty heavy favorite against the field, considering there are four teams and they're given a 33% chance of winning the national championship. And beating Clemson, they're a 3-point favorite. So Vegas knows. Just make whatever Vegas thinks about these games and about these teams, whatever the Vegas line is, should select the four teams into the playoffs. Consider this. I did some research here. I went through the college football season, and I selected every game in which two teams played that were like-seeded teams, meaning their records were very close. One was a 6-5 team and the other a 6-5 team, or One was a third-place team from the Pac-12 and the other a third-place team from the Big Ten. They were like-seeded games because we're not going to see any lopsided or blowout anticipated games in the playoffs. Alabama's not going to play Purdue in the playoffs, and Georgia is not going to play Kansas in the playoffs. They're going to be like-seeded games, and those are obviously those blowout games, easy to predict or forecast a winner. Vegas, if Vegas is so smart, should be telling us who's going to win the games between like-seeded teams, right? There were 54 such games, meaning 54 games this season during the regular season in college football among Power 5 teams were like-seeded games. Okay, Oklahoma, Ohio State. Oklahoma won the Big 12. Ohio State won the Big 10. Ohio State was a 7-point favorite. Vegas was wrong. In those 54 games, Vegas, which is flawless, which should be our compass to select college football playoff teams, was right 30 out of 54 times. 30 out of 54. Boy, just a bit less than perfection. 55% of the time. That's the best Vegas could do in telling us and predicting the winner of a game between like-seeded comparable teams. But there are people out there that would like to see Vegas and whatever the Vegas odds and Vegas line is to tell us and provide for us the compass to select those teams into the college football playoff. Those are my thoughts. Would love to hear what you have to say about this topic or anything pertaining to college football as we head toward postseason play in all the bowls. We will preview all of them, provide instant analysis, and of course, if you check out the videos, you see that we bring on the best bloggers and broadcasters in college football. So please subscribe to Mark Rogers TV. Enjoy hearing from you, looking at your comments, and getting back to most of them right here on Mark Rogers TV.